Hello, welcome to August 26th, 2023. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. This is something that I do each and every day, a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:35, spot on. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to reflect on the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and opportunities that I met. I look at the coming day as well, to plan it out. I think about my life story, plan or ready myself for death, and then I begin my day. But before I do all of that, I'll read two poems from John Keats. First, we'll reread the poem that we read yesterday and studied, and then we'll read a new poem. Yesterday's poem will just be read right on through. Here we go. I liked it. It's a very good poem, and it seems that never mind. Well, it seems that he's got love on his mind. Remember, these poems were written in chronological order, so whatever was going on in Keats' mind seems to be revealed sometimes by this theme of the various poems that he's in, or at least what his activities were, where he was going and what he was seeing. This one is called, and I won't study this, yesterday's video studied it. It's called, and the title is the same as the first line, And What is Love? It is a doll dressed up. I really like this one. And what is love? It is a doll dressed up, for idleness to cosset, nurse, and dandle, a thing of soft misnomers so divine, that silly youth doth think to make itself divine by loving, and so goes on yawning and dotting a whole summer long. This is the part I like, the summer, right? What it's like to be young in the summer. Till Mrs. Combe is made of pearl tiare, and common Wellingtons turn Romeo boots, till Cleopatra lives at number 7, and Anthony resides in Brunswick Square. Fools, if some passions high have warmed the world, if queens and soldiers have played deep for hearts, it is no reason why such agonies should be more common than the growth of weeds. Fools, make me whole again that weighty pearl the Queen of England melted, and I'll say that ye may love in spite of beaver hats. This is like the third or fourth time I've read this poem. I don't understand that last bit. I think I need to know the context that Keats was living in and the current affairs maybe, or at least the history that was taught at the time to understand that bit. But I sure do like the bit about the summer and the way that young men and women's lives become something more, seemingly so, but it's more than seeming. It's in fact. It is a beautiful season of their life. And Mrs. Combe is made of pearl tiare, and common Wellingtons turn Romeo boots. Now I'm going to skip a poem here called Hyperion, a fragment, which I think I'm going to regret, because I think that's one of his good poems, one of his acclaimed poems, but I'm going to skip it because it's really long and I can't do it in this. It's really long. And that's the triage that I do, right? I can't read everything, and I'm skipping two of them, one called Song and the other called Song. They didn't seem to interest me very much. And the first one, Song, just didn't understand the context. It seems again to be love and keeping a woman too close to one's mind, perhaps. The second song I will do. So the second one. Here, let's study it. There were 3 vocabulary that we needed to discuss. Lethean, which we've seen before, but I had to look up just to remember, and I'll remember it forever now because I looked it up twice. Refers to the river in the afterlife, that if you drank from the waters, you would forget your mortal life. And so he has here, closes up and forgets all its Lethean care. So forgetting by drinking the water, and all the cares of the world will be forgotten. And then another one here is bower, which is a safe place to hide. And then stock dove. This is interesting. I didn't know this one. He says, the stock dove shall hatch her soft brace and shall coo. Brace, of course, is the hatchlings, the babies. A stock dove is a special type of dove in Europe that makes a very mournful sound. Wordsworth would sometimes use it in other poets In Japan, there's a type of cicada that has that same effect. It's high up in the mountains. I can never remember what that cicada is called, but it's a beautiful sound. Would love to live in a place where I could hear that. All right, here we go. Song. And just to set the stage, this is a really interesting one. There's a old house, an old man asleep. I guess his young love, maybe his young bride, maybe who married him for his position and wealth or something like that, as these things happen. And then the character in the poem, the young man, escorting her outside to kiss. Hush, hush, tread softly, hush, hush, my dear. All the house is asleep, but we know very well that the jealous old bald pate may hear, though you've patted his nightcap. Oh, sweet Isabel. Imagine that, patted his nightcap, so I guess something in his cap to cover his ears, or maybe she just, patted, not patted. When the first time I read it, I thought patted, but now it's patted, so maybe put something in to cover his ears. Oh, sweet Isabel, though your feet are more light than a fairy's feet, who dances on bubbles where brooklets meet. Imagine that, a fairy dancing on the bubbles of the brook. Hush, hush, tread softly, hush, my dear, for less than a nothing the jealous can hear. No leaf doth tremble, no ripple is there on the river, all still, and the night's sleepy eye closes up and forgets all its Lethean care. Isn't that beautiful? So everything is dead quiet. Charmed to death by the drone of the humming mayfly, and the moon, whether prudish or complacent, hath fled to her bower. So not even the moon is out to conspire against them. Well knowing I want no light in the darkness, no torch in the gloom, but my Isabel's eyes and her lips pulped with bloom. I like the pulped with bloom, right? The youth, and the fullness of the lips in her youth. Lift the latch, gently, tenderly, sweet. We are dead if that latchet gives one little clink. Well done. Now those lips and a flowery seat. The old man may dream, and the planets may wink. The shut rose may dream of our love and awake. Full blown, and such warmth for the morning take. The stock dove shall hatch her soft brace and shall coo, while I kiss to the melody, aching all through. That aching all through bit. I'm no romance novel reader, but even that got to me. Ooh. It's supposed to be like this, right? How do you do it? How do women do it? Oh. All right, so let's do the good life. First last night and yesterday. I slept better last night, although I didn't eat very well. Yumiko wasn't feeling so good. She'd gone into the office, and that drive had wiped her out. So we just did whatever for dinner, and I availed myself of chicken nuggets that had been in the freezer for like a year and a half since we'd had some kids at the house, and my niece and nephew, and I bought those back long ago, thinking that they might want to eat it. They didn't eat it, and it's been sitting there ever since. So I was going to make myself something better, but I decided now's the time to get rid of those nugget thingies. And I cooked them all up, at the whole friggin' bag that was left, and I ate them all. And I still don't feel recovered. It's going to take me a day to get over that. That was a mistake. And I knew I was doing it. As I did it, I was headed downhill. So I didn't sleep so well because of that. Better than the night before. Yesterday was a good day, though. I was all day off all day. It was my day off. But I worked half of the day. I kind of bore my soul, so to speak, yesterday in this video, talking about a problem at work. And I came up with a good solution for it that I chronicled and wrote down all of it here. And I put that into action yesterday after that. It took me half a day to do all of that. I think it'll work. I think I'm prepared. I think I'm prepared for this next week coming up. At least the anxiety has fled. Like the moon in Keats' poem, fled to its bower. And the night was quiet, except for the fact that I didn't eat so well. And I did another training session, an AI training session yesterday. That worked out really good too. I was able to tighten up the presentation, and I also came up with a good opener. I'm going to open with a bang, an AI bang. Great swim. Wow, powerful swim yesterday. Good day. I can't think of anything in particular that ambushed me, except some regret. I regretted talking so openly yesterday in yesterday's video about work, and I don't like doing that. And I wound up removing the post on LinkedIn, where I know that some of my coworkers sometimes watch my videos. I decided that was a little too close to home. I did that in the afternoon. Little regret. Let's do the good life. 7 objectives. All of these are laid out in my book, Going Alone, as well as the principles. To be always ready to die. To make good and effective use of time. To develop and maintain good and sound life principles. To cultivate good emotional reactions. To perform good actions. To recognize my true limits and my true opportunities, and to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And now my 34 principles. These are the things that I use to help me to achieve the objectives. War, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, principle of nature, the pirate ride, maturity, social principle, principle of family, public speaking, distraction, agency in the great indifference, the best seat in the house, the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the season of philosophy. No. The risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy. How did I get that out of order? Script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, and the principle of fun. Did that in kind of a measured way, didn't I? I like that. I like the way that flowed out, except for the fact that I somehow smuggled in the season of philosophy too soon. But I recovered. Okay, now let's plan for today. It's a Saturday, busy day on Saturdays, especially since I don't feel so good after that chicken nugget thing last night. So I finish this, type up my words, do all the other things I do in the morning, feed the dogs, feed myself, off to the beach to do my book reading. I think I'll be reading chapter 2 of Going Alone. This copy, it's the only copy I have anymore. I got 2 books to send. Yeah, they're on their way. Two last books to send before I'm sending all of these free books I've been sending for years. I'm down to the last 2. They're on their way. They should be here. Should have been here yesterday, I think. No, they'll be here this week, I think. Anyway, what I'm getting off track. Go to the beach, do that. I'll come home, clean the house, go have shopping with my wife, have lunch, and we're off to the races. My story, I'm in drawing to the end of my career. I should focus on that. Trying to the end. Just stick it out, Kurt. Another 15 months. Then, less than that. 10 months, I think. 10 months before I venture. 15 months. It's a big adventure. Wow. Okay, now, am I ready for death? My affairs are in order, my relationships are sound, and my life's work is done. I'm ready, I think. As ready as I can be. I'll leave it at that. With that, my life is done, if not finished. I wish you all the best. I'll see you at the beach, maybe. Be safe, but not too safe. Bye-bye. I keep missing it.